Ren Takahashi had never been rich. He didn't drive expensive cars, he didn't wear designer clothes, and his apartment was barely big enough for a bed and a small desk. But Ren had something he believed was worth more than money. A dream. And for 5 years, he also had someone he loved. Her name was Aika Nakamura. They met during their first year of college. Back then, neither of them had anything. They studied together, they walked home together, and sometimes they would sit on the rooftop of their campus building talking about the future. Ren always spoke about building a company one day. Not just any company. He wanted to create something that could change his life and maybe even the world. Aika would listen quietly and smile. "Then I'll be there when it happens," she once told him. At least, that's what Ren believed. After graduation, reality started to feel different. Ren found work at a small electronics repair shop. The job wasn't glamorous. Most days he spent hours fixing broken phones and laptops. The pay was barely enough to cover rent. But every night after work, Ren would sit at his desk and study business strategies online. He read books about companies, he watched interviews with entrepreneurs, and he wrote ideas in a notebook that slowly filled with plans for the future. He believed that if he worked hard enough, one day, things would change. Aika, however, began seeing the world differently. Many of her friends were now dating wealthy men. Their social media was full of luxury vacations, expensive dinners, designer handbags. And every time Aika scrolled through those pictures, a quiet doubt grew in her mind. Meanwhile, Ren still walked everywhere because he couldn't afford a car. One evening, Aika arrived at the repair shop to meet him after work. She looked around the small store, the cracked walls, the old counters, the smell of solder and electronics. For a moment, she didn't say anything. Then she asked a simple question. "Ren, how long are you going to work here?" Ren smiled. "Not forever," he said. "I'm learning. One day, I'll start something bigger." Aika forced a smile, but deep inside, she wasn't convinced anymore. A few weeks later, someone new entered her life. Kaito Sakamura. Kaito was everything Ren was not. Confident, charismatic, and unbelievably wealthy. His father owned one of the largest business groups in the city. Kaito drove a luxury sports car. He hosted extravagant parties, and wherever he went, people treated him like royalty. They met at a corporate networking event where Aika had recently started working as a junior assistant. At first, it was just casual conversation. But Kaito had a way of making people feel important. He listened carefully. He complimented her. And within days, he began inviting her to places she had only seen in movies. 5-star restaurants, private rooftop lounges, exclusive events filled with powerful people. For the first time, Aika experienced a world that felt exciting, glamorous, and effortless. Meanwhile, Ren was still fixing broken phones, still studying late at night, still believing their future was something they would build together. But slowly, Aika began spending less time with him. Her messages became shorter. Her excuses became more frequent. Work meetings, late projects, unexpected plans. Ren noticed the distance, but he trusted her, because after 5 years together, he never imagined she would betray him. Then one evening, something unexpected happened. A customer at the repair shop mentioned a party happening at a luxury hotel downtown. Apparently, many influential business families would be there. Ren didn't care much about parties, but something about that conversation made him curious. Later that night, he decided to walk by the hotel just to see what it looked like. The entrance was surrounded by expensive cars. Bright lights illuminated the entire street. People dressed in elegant suits and dresses were entering the building. Ren stood across the road watching. And that's when he saw her. Aika. She stepped out of a black luxury car. Standing beside her was Kaito Sakamura. Kaito casually placed his hand around her waist as they walked toward the entrance. For a moment, Ren thought he must be mistaken. Maybe it was just a business event. Maybe there was some explanation. But when Aika turned her head, their eyes met. The world suddenly felt very quiet. Ren waited for her to look shocked, or guilty, or even surprised. But she didn't. Instead, Aika slowly walked toward him. Kaito remained near the entrance, watching from a distance. For several seconds, neither of them spoke. Finally, Ren asked the only question he could think of. Aika, what's going on? She looked at him carefully, not angry, not sad, just tired. Ren, she said softly, you're a good person. Those words felt strangely cold. Ren frowned. What does that mean? Aika sighed. I'm tired of struggling. The sentence hit harder than any insult. I want a different life, she continued. A life where I don't have to worry about money every day. Ren stood frozen. And you think you'll find that with him? He asked quietly. Aika glanced back at Kaito. Then she nodded. For a moment, Ren didn't know what to say. 5 years of memories suddenly felt meaningless. Finally, he spoke again. So that's it? Aika hesitated, but then she answered honestly. Yes. There were many things Ren could have said in that moment. Anger, begging, accusations. But none of those words came out. Instead, he simply nodded. All right, he said. Then he turned around and walked away. The rain started falling as he made his way through the dark streets. He didn't cry. He didn't shout. He just walked, step after step, through the empty city. By the time he reached his apartment, his clothes were completely soaked. Ren sat down at his desk, the same small desk where he had written hundreds of business ideas. For several minutes, he stared at the notebook in front of him. Then he opened it. Page after page of plans filled the notebook. Startup ideas, marketing strategies, financial models, dreams he once believed he would share with Aika. But now something inside him had changed. The pain he felt was still there, but it had transformed into something else, something colder, something sharper. Determination. Ren closed the notebook and whispered to himself, if the world only respects money, then I'll build more than anyone else. Outside, the rain continued to fall, but Ren Takahashi no longer felt broken. That night was not the end of his story. It was only the beginning. 3 years later, the poor boy she abandoned would return as one of the youngest CEOs in the entire city. And the girl who chose money over him would soon realize the cost of that decision. Because sometimes, the greatest mistake someone can make is underestimating the person they left behind.